This was a busy week up on Beacon Hill. Governor Charlie Baker's order for residents to wear masks when outside and unable to maintain the 6-foot social distancing guidelines and at all times when inside grocery and retail stores as well as public transportation went into effect on Wednesday. I spoke to State Representative Betty Poirier about the order and other actions this week when she stopped by North TV on Friday morning. Betty, let me begin by asking, Wednesday was the day where there were requirements for residents to wear masks. In your opinion, was it a good idea?
Well, I do think it's a good idea for people to protect others from themselves, should you be asymptomatic. And I've had a lot of pushback on that, actually, from some people. But the way I read it, if you're in a circumstance where you are not going to be able to socially distance, you need to wear a mask. If you're going into CVS or Stop and Shop or whatever, for whatever reason, with others. If you're alone taking a walk or riding a bike, I think you don't need your mask. And I myself probably wouldn't do that. But anywhere where you're going to be with people, absolutely you should do the mask to protect yourself and to protect others from you, should you be asymptomatic.
We spoke to Anne Marie Fleming earlier in this newscast, and she talked about the trends, the numbers in North Attleboro. I know you have some numbers as far as the Commonwealth is concerned.
I do, and I think they're really very interesting and, in my view, optimistic. So I have numbers as of February 1st. We had 73,721 we have had since that date, 73,721 cases. We have lost 4,552. Presently hospitalized and in the recent past, 3,436. Those who have recovered or who are recovering in the hospital as we speak, who are expected to be fine, are 65,733. So to me, that's, in spite of our losses certainly, that's a very good number. So we've lost 4,500 out of 737,000, and the rest are coming back and recovering. So I want people to have optimism. We have to have optimism during this time. It's a very difficult time to go through, so I think that's a good thing to remember.
Governor Baker, who you know very well, you and he, I would say, are friends.
We're buds. Sometimes.
He's caught some flack because he has been strict about this, and he hasn't always given a rosy picture. And some people have been turned off by it.
I agree, and I think he is overly cautious in trying to protect people. And I'd say the pressure is on now, especially since Governor Raimondo has backed off a little bit and we are so close, particularly in our end of the state. I think you're going to see things in the near future open up. As soon as we hear his plan for getting back to some kind of normalcy, I think people will start to feel better. I really do. As it is now, part of my good news is the golf courses are open. Oh my God.
Really? I hadn't noticed.
Oh, the balloons are flying. The thing is, you cannot ride a cart. So you have to either use a push cart or you have to walk. And I know that's tough for a lot of our seniors. But maybe some of those seniors that aren't able to push or carry but can walk can bring their grandchildren with them to carry the clubs and maybe learn a few things about the great game of golf. But that certainly has brought optimism to people. So that's part of my good news. The other thing I wanted to tell people about is we had the first ever in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts since the colonial days, our first virtual formal session. and it was something. 158, we have 2 empty seats at the moment. 158 people on their phones or their computers chiming in to vote on borrowing money because our sales tax and all our Massachusetts tax receipts are delayed until July. So we have to get through this period. It was a necessary thing to do. And I tell you, it was an experience. We had division chairs who had so many people in each of the 4 divisions, and they called your name one by one, and you had to speak out loud. And there were a few glitches, few people couldn't be heard, they had to go back and so forth. But it was accomplished, and it was quite a thing. There were no extended speeches, just a couple of people talked and explained the situation. And of course, there was no opposition to borrowing the money because we have to go forward. So that's a first in the Commonwealth and will go down in the history books. And I truly hope that we may have a few more, but I am looking forward to getting back into the chamber and being able to converse with my colleagues and come to some mutual decisions in face-to-face.
And I'd be remiss if I did not end this without saying Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of the bright spots during this period. And even if you can't be with your mother in person, make sure you call her or send her a nice note and tell her how much you love her.